1, 2, 3.
Hello and welcome to Kayfabe is Dead podcast, episode 7. How you guys doing today? I'm not doing too bad myself. School is actually going awkwardly good this semester. Like, I'm doing really good. I got a chance to get in 4.0. So, with all that said, I mean, I'm pretty good right now. I do have an assignment to do. I have to watch Hidden Figures and write an essay about it. Don't know what that has to do with school, but it's okay. At least it's a good movie, right? But first, before we even get into Raw, before we get into SmackDown, before we get into the tragic deaths that have been happening, I just want to thank you guys because literally I've been seeing a good increase on my plays, and I love the support. I got to be honest. My WrestleMania Dream Card, which I worked really hard for, it has 17 plays, and that might not sound like a lot as of now, Wednesday at 12:22 p.m. It has 17 plays, and that might not sound like a lot, but it truly is to me, and I know 17 people didn't listen to the whole thing. I mean, if they did, great. Like, I would love that. But, like, I'm pretty sure people just clicked on it. Oh, maybe listen to it for a minute or two and, paid it no mind. But anyways, the people that sat through, listened to the whole thing, even if you just heard a clip of it, thank you guys for listening. And let me know if you actually listened to it and let me know your thoughts because I really want to know, I still find it surreal that people are listening to words that I say. And I'm forever going to be humble, and I just want to thank you guys so far for that. So, nevertheless, thank you, and I promise you, my man EJ, I don't know if you guys heard the first 2 podcasts we pumped out, but my man EJ, I can't wait for him to come up, and I'm going to keep shouting him out every podcast, because this is just as much his idea as it is mine, so shout out to EJ, as I always do. Alright, but before we get into Raw, before we get into SmackDown, I just want to give my regards in the deaths that have been happening, and it's been sad. I mean, this year has seen a lot of deaths, and it's only been 2 months in. We've seen I feel like another death every week, and it nothing less this week, I could assume. The people that just so happen to pass this week, unfortunately, are Chavo Guerrero Sr., George the Animal Steel, Ivan Koloff, and Nicole Bass. Now, truthfully, I'm younger, and I mean, I obviously heard of George the Animal Steel, eating turnbuckles and whatnot. Ivan Koloff, I heard of him I'm pretty sure he had a big Bruno Sammartino win, but that's way before me, and so is George the Animal Steel. Chavo Guerrero Sr., obviously, his whole family is regarded as the Guerrero is one of the greatest wrestling families of all time. It is what it is, and to see one of the older people in the family tree die is just a shame. And I wish I was able to actually see them and live throughout their moments in history, but unfortunately I haven't. And I mean, I'm only 18, so the deaths that struck me the hardest were obviously Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero. Even Umaga, to be honest, because I didn't love Umaga as a kid. Well, as a kid, I hated him because he's a heel, and that was his job. But, looking back at it now, the man looked scary, and he did his job. I didn't like him as a kid, and that means you're doing something right. You know what I mean? If you're a heel and you give off genuine heat, then kudos to you. But nevertheless, and I don't know if I mentioned her yet, Nicole Bass, too, who truthfully, I don't really know too much about. I looked back into it, and she was a bodyguard for Sable, and I know WWE wouldn't really mention her a lot because I think she is part of the whole concussion lawsuit that is going on. They gave Georgia Animal Steel, not a promo package, what is it called? A memorial segment on Monday Night Raw, so that was really nice. Ivan Koloff, I don't think he got even a mention. I think I heard they tweeted him, but I guess that was all. But nevertheless, just wanted to get that out of the way and pay my regards first. Now let's get into Monday Night Raw. And I did miss the first hour, originally at least, because I was working. I do have a job. And apparently I didn't miss too much, which is crazy because, Raw is usually the first hour is good, second hour is okay, the third hour is either meh or it's really good or it's vice versa, whatever the case may be. But I did go back and watch it, at least some of it. I was not going to watch a Roman Reigns and Bullet Club match. I'm sorry. I don't want to see either side be demoralized. Well, Bullet Club, especially the club. I'm sorry, I refer to them as that. But so to be honest, I don't even know who won. But that's just, as soon as I seen that it happened, in my mind I said skip. I'm not watching this because one, is pointless. So I hate watching pointless matches, which is that's one of the, I guess that's one of the problems for me when people recommend ROH or things like that. Like matches with no storyline, I can't really get into just because I'm not emotionally invested into it. That's me. I don't know how it is for you guys, but I don't know, when a match is built around storyline, I mean, even if the match is good, like I seen some good one-off matches that had nothing to do with anything in other promotions. Like I have seen some ROH matches. I try to get into that, but it's just too much lack of storyline telling that threw me out of it. And same thing here. I can't watch a match that has nothing to do with a story on either side. What story are they building that Roman Reigns is gonna overcome? He can't overcome two people. Like that's not. It doesn't make sense to me. But anyways, I did get to catch the Owens promo, which pretty sure it started the show off. I don't really know the order of the first hour just because I wasn't in tune because of me working. But Owens, I'm pretty sure, started the show off, and I did get to watch his whole promo. And God, this was one of the best promos from Owens on the main roster. Probably besides the whole Jericho promo last week, which that's not even a promo in itself. That's just a segment. It reminded me of the Owens we had when he was first introduced back when he was feuding with John Cena. When he beat John Cena and he said his son was asking, but Dad, is John Cena okay? Like this reminded me of that Kevin Owens, and that's the Kevin Owens I love, and that's the Kevin Owens I loved from NXT. And he basically talked about how Lesnar wasn't focused into facing Goldberg on the match of SummerSlam. SummerSlam wasn't? Survivor Series? It was Survivor Series, I'm sorry. He wasn't focused going into the match versus Goldberg in Survivor Series. That's why Goldberg beat him so quick. He said he knows the key to beating Goldberg and is to last with him, which is true, because Goldberg can't have a match longer than 5 minutes, or he can't have a match longer than 2 minutes, if you want to be honest. He said that's his weakness. I don't know if he studied the William Regal game tape, but he said that's his weakness, and he knows how to play the game, which I don't know if anybody else caught that. He said he knows how to play the game. The game? I don't know. Does that have to do with anything? Because you guys got to remember, he did talk to Triple H. Do not forget the segment where he talked to Triple H last week. Not this last episode. The episode before that, where he talked to Triple H before he turned on Jericho. So maybe, just maybe, this is a thing where, like, Triple H could get him out of the situation, and he could remain champion and something of that sort. I know there's rumors. I don't know if it's rumors or it's just a fan theory of stable of Owens, Samoa Joe, and Triple H. You could take Triple H out of that because I don't want to see Triple H fight. I don't want to see Triple H be this character where he's the boss. I hate the boss characters. I like what Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon are doing on SmackDown is so right now, besides the fact of the rumor that there's a Shane McMahon and AJ Styles match for WrestleMania going around. Besides that, they're doing so much right. And even when they do intervene, like they do with Miz, and Daniel Bryan and Miz obviously have that thing going on. That builds to the product. That's not taking away anything. That's just building. And you want to see Daniel Bryan come out of retirement just to face the Miz. Who would say, man, I want Daniel Bryan retirement match to be against the Miz? And it's because they're doing that right. And that's what a real authority figure is. To me, at least, like the Vince McMahon days of him being the jerk of a boss that everybody hates, and because it's a relatable story. Everybody hates their boss. I hate my boss. I hate both of my bosses, and then everybody under them is great, but everybody hates their boss. Everybody wish they could Stone Cold Stunner their boss and FU their boss and Rock Bottom their boss, but we've seen it already. We've seen it enough, and we've seen it too many times. It's done. It gets a little unbelievable sometimes because now we know wrestling is fake. As to back then, it was kind of riding the edge, and if you said wrestling was fake, you were kind of spoiling something. You know what I mean? Whereas today, we know that, like, Vince McMahon loves Roman Reigns. Please tell me why Vince McMahon was trying to get Roman Reigns off the belt. Well, get the belt off Roman Reigns, I'm sorry. Like, it doesn't really make sense. But anyways, I just want to say that before anything. Owens did mention the game, at least in subliminally. So maybe it was a subliminal. Maybe I'm just overlooking it. Whatever. But also, when he tries to cover the whole Jericho situation, he literally says, "As for Jericho," and he drops the mic. So good, I like that, because I don't want two storylines to intervene at once, and that's what I said last week. I thought it was an interesting time that they did it on, and it was a weird time, but if they don't mention it and they keep it off-key till Fastlane, and maybe Jericho comes at Fastlane or comes the day after, I think that would be good. What I would do personally, because I love to fantasy book things, have Owens beat Goldberg somehow, whether Lesnar interferes. That's the only way I would do it, actually. Lesnar interfering, or some way Owens gets out of the match alive and as champion. Disqualification, whatever the case may be, count out, whatever. I'll get him out as champion. The following day, have Jericho come and not challenge him, but enter the real feud, proper feud with Kevin Owens for the Universal Belt going into Mania. That's how I would do it. I'm not even going to talk about what's next up, guys. This New Day defeating Rusev and Jinder Mahal. Next, Cruiserweight contract signing. And I did like this. And also, what the Cruiserweights did, they were in the first hour. To go back into what segment it was, I'm going to have to look that up. But as I look it up, let me talk about the segment that was the Cruiserweight contract signing. And this is where I tuned in at. No, I tuned in. I'm lying. I tuned in at the New Day, but when the New Day were on, to be honest, I was not watching. Like, why should I? Because a Rusev and Jinder Mahal match versus New Day is something that I don't want to see, and it's another pointless match. And poor Rusev. I really think he's going to have nothing to go into at Mania. And even on my Dream Mania card, I couldn't put him on because even in my dreams, I couldn't book him out of the situation he's in now. So I think they're just going to have to refresh and start all over come after Mania season. Now, the first Cruiserweight match, before I talk about the contract signing, I'm sorry. Bryan, Kendrick, and Akira Tozawa. Now, truthfully, right now, I'm just on the WWE YouTube page, so I don't know what happens, but apparently Bryan Kendrick brutalizes Akira Tozawa. Actually, just for you guys, I'm going to put it on right now. And, alright, it looks like they were scheduled for a match. Let me skip through it a little bit. Bryan Kendrick has his hand out for the handshake. Akira doesn't want to shake it. And he's about to jump the gun and whoop his ass. Wait on it. I think the referee looks like Teddy Long so bad. Speaking of Teddy Long, he is inducted into the Hall of Fame. And yeah, Bryan Kendrick brutalizes. Oh yeah, the caption got it right. I thought there was a match, and I was halfway right. I mean, I guess the match got pulled off. But a Bryan Kendrick and Akira Tozawa feud, I think that's going to be good. And I think that Akira Tozawa entering that, he could gain something because he's beating a former Cruiserweight champion, even though that championship holds no meaning. He's beating a former Cruiserweight champion, and it just puts him even on a higher spot on the map. And also, Bryan Kendrick is one of the more bigger names in the Cruiserweight division. He's bigger than TJ Perkins. We know that. And Akira Tozawa coming over him and beating him, that's a good look. And it really proved that they want Akira Tozawa to be something in the big leagues of WWE. And let me just mention this, two Cruiserweight segments in the first 2 hours of Raw. Pretty good, I would say. Which, that was my big complaint in the very beginning of these podcasts, because they would always put them in the one in the beginning and one in the ending, or just one in the ending, and it was terrible. I hate it. But now they're being showcased in the beginning of the show, and I like that a lot better. So the Cruiserweight is on a rise right now. Still not really in tune with 205 Live, though. I'm going to be honest with you. But now the Cruiserweight contract signing match. Oh my God, I'm fumbling my words today. What happened was Jack Gallagher had, his whole gentleman table out with tea and biscuits, and he was ready to sign his contract, and Neville came out and like a badass tried to sign the contract and leave. Jack Gallagher was like, hey, I thought, we could share some tea and biscuits and, sign this contract, blah, blah, blah. And Neville gave another great promo. Just Neville is phenomenal right now. I have to tell you guys every week, like, he's phenomenal. He is giving great promos I never thought he could deliver. And when he first turned heel, I remember I asked my man EJ, I was like, bro, do you think he could, like, we never seen a heel Neville, do you think he could cut it? And I mean, he proved himself. So shout out to Neville once again. Not like I have to do it every week, but I'm going to give credit when it is due. And he gives a passionate promo complaining that Jack is stereotypical Englishman, exactly what the fans wanted Neville to be. And, good promo. And Jack basically said, just more on his character, he said, I'm not playing a gentleman, I am a gentleman. There's a difference. Anyways, Jack gets the upper hand, and he just looks strong. I mean, they're both the best cruiserweights in the division as of now. I mean, I thought Jack Gallagher was the best cruiserweight besides Neville, obviously, before Neville even had the championship. Like, I always knew it was Neville and then Jack Gallagher just because of the way they're doing his character. Like, they're giving Jack Gallagher an actual character that's working instead of what they're doing with Cedric Alexander, Rich Swann. Brian Kendrick does have his character. TJ Perkins, he needs to go heel. I can't stand him. I can't stand his face. I can't stand his theme music. Can't stand his whole playing a youthful character when he's like 32 years old. So maybe even, honestly, let me look that up. I think he's even older than that, to be honest. But while I look that up, now to the next segment. And TJ Perkins is 32. Yeah, I was right, exactly. All right, cool. Now to the next segment. We had a Nia squash match. Nothing crazy. What was crazy is she got interviewed after about Bayley, and she basically said she deserves her title shot, blah, blah, blah. She beat the boss. And it really looks like they're going to do a Fatal 4-Way. And I think that's the direction they're going in for Mania. Do I like it? Do I love it? I think Bayley's going to lose her title at Fastlane. And it's just the whole Sasha preserving her whole Mania streak. I don't know when that's going to end. Is Sasha really just going to win the title back at Fastlane, retain it at Mania, or lose it at Mania, win it the next pay-per-view? It's going to be the repeated cycle because I like the whole gimmick of Sasha being undefeated at pay-per-views, but you could have had that Bayley win at Mania and have that win mean so much more than what it was. And that was my big problem with Bayley winning at Raw. Why would you do it at a degular Raw? Sure, you made that Raw special, but it was going to be a special moment regardless, and you could have made the whole Mania card special, whereas there's not too much to look forward to as of now, and I will dive into that as I talk about SmackDown, but there's not too much to look forward to now, and that could have been one of the biggest moments that been in WrestleMania for the last decade. There hasn't been too many big, heartfelt, happy moments to experience at Mania. I mean, we had the Daniel Bryan moment. We didn't have no moment last year. That's for sure. Daniel Bryan moment. Oh God, Undertaker retiring, Ric Flair. That's not a happy moment, but that was like passionate, emotional moment. I said Undertaker retiring. I'm sorry, Undertaker's streak broken. Just moments like those that we really remember, and Bayley's first win could have been one of those moments, one of the, oh my God, I remember when she won the title, because your first title that's your first and most important one. That's your first and most important reign, and if all these women are just going to get a 1-month reign or a 2-week reign, that's not going to do anything for their career. Speaking of a short reign, we had a Stephanie and Bayley segment where Stephanie was basically saying how Bayley's, she's demoralizing Bayley. Bayley, you're not built for this. You should just relinquish the championship. And basically telling Bayley to give up her championship and give in. And eventually Sasha came out saying, Bayley, you're stronger than this. I'm not going to let you do this. Blah, 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 blah. Definitely looking at like they're setting up a Sasha heel turn. And they're trying to build that Bayley-Sasha connection right now because it'll get them more attached. Like, it'll make their friendship look a lot closer. So when the heel turn does happen, it'll be more effective. But what I was thinking when I was watching this segment is I really want to see Stephanie just get her comeuppance. And I know I just said that I don't like when these managers and these authority figures have matches and they interfere so much, but I would love to see a Sasha versus Stephanie match just so I could see Stephanie get her ass beat and take a loss because, these guys can't hit her. Obviously, she did get speared, and that was, like, the biggest pop of Roman Reigns' career. But, like, I would love to see a woman get at her because that's what they could do. And we've seen Vince take a whole lot of bumps. So, Stephanie, I think it's your turn up next if you want to really play this authority figure well. This segment eventually led to a match involving Charlotte and, you guessed it, Sasha Banks for the millionth time that we've seen. But I would never really mind a Charlotte versus Sasha match as much as people like to hate on it. But it is really showing the lack of depth of the women's division. And it's not benefiting anybody, to be honest. It's showing that they're running out of matchups, and it's not working out for them. What happened was eventually Dana Brooke tried interfering, which caused Bayley to stop her. Charlotte ended up tapping out, and that was the match. I mean, nevertheless, a good match, and they're always going to have a good match. That's what these two females do, and that's what Charlotte does. She rarely has bad matches. So, it's just a lack of depth in the women's division and constant. This reminds me back into the first championship Charlotte days where Dana Brooke would constantly come out, and it's annoying. And I don't know where Dana Brooke came from like this time because she's been off screen for like 2-3 months. So for her to just pop up out of nowhere and pretend like nothing happened, I would like to see somebody explain something, but commentators aren't doing that. Charlotte's not doing that. Not Nia Jax. Dana Brooks ain't doing that. So maybe eventually they could tell me where the hell she came from and what the hell is, what was she doing? And I think in reality she was getting ready for some, not a bodybuilding, but like something like that of that sort. But I'm not too in depth on that situation because I'm not the biggest Dana Brooke fan. Next up, we had Zayn versus Owens. Talk about lack of depth, right? Like we haven't seen this match before. But Joe did attack Zayn, and Joe consistently looking like a badass. And he attacked him right before the match. And basically, Kevin Owens was there left to just clean up his scraps and win the match easily. Makes Owens not look strong, but just makes him look even more of a heel that he is. And Joe makes him look like a monster. I forgot what he was telling him. I don't know if I wrote it down. I didn't. But Joe keeps saying something as he's beating up Sami Zayn. And I love that. I love the off-mic work. And I think that's a great thing. And that's a great skill. And you know who does that really well? Roman Reigns. As much as people like to hate on Roman Reigns, he does do it very well. For our main event, we had the match that was promoted throughout the night. Promoted the week before. Braun Strowman versus The Big Show. Now, they were doing this like body slam thing during the house shows and whatnot, but no, they actually had a full match, and they got a decent amount of time as well, and wow, the big men actually did their thing, and Big Show did as good as Big Show could do, and Braun Strowman, man, he's showing a little bit of technical skill now. I've seen him do a few, I think he did an arm drag, and he was doing a little bit of chain wrestling, so Braun Strowman, I guess the Performance Center days are paying off, and good for him because Braun Strowman's really being built up great. One of the biggest steals in that whole draft, which I think I want to do that. Tell me what you guys think of me doing like a biggest steals of the draft for SmackDown and Raw. Like I'll put Braun Strowman up there, for example. It could be like free agent signings too, including like Mickey James and whatnot. Braun Strowman, who else been doing really good? I mean, Wyatt is the champion, and he was drafted a little lower than other people. Things like that, of that sort, What you guys think? Should I do that? I also want to do biggest, worst picks of the draft, biggest bust of the draft. Seth Rollins isn't really that impressive. I mean, he got injured, and he was, the first pick of the whole draft, so would he be considered a bust? I don't know. Find out when I do it. Next up, not next up. We're still on the match. See, I'm trying to jump to the next segment. But, speaking of Braun Strowman's, technical skill, he did a kip-up where he literally did, the old Shawn Michaels get back on my feet thing for, I don't know how much he weighs, but he's damn near 7 foot. He's big as hell, and he did a kip up. So, wow. He did end up get the win. He did one sloppy running power slam. I don't know if they played off the fact that it was sloppy, so Big Show kicked out, but he did another one, and it gave him the solidified victory. Nothing controversial about it. And then Roman comes out to be destroyed once again. So, consistent storyline. I like that. That's probably one of the better storylines on Raw right now. So, Braun Strowman, you get a clap for the day because you really been doing your thing. So, shout out to you. No Emmeline on the show. I guess they're really going with the whole she's going to turn back into Emma gimmick, and what a waste of time. I heard the reason they did that, and I'm sure you guys have too at this point, is that she didn't flatter them, basically. She didn't impress them when she did her whole Emelina promo or her, just her practicing of the character. So they basically said, all right, well, you're going to go back to Emma, and this is how you're going to do it. Wow, what a waste of time. What a waste of our time. What a waste of her time. What a waste of the WWE writers' time if they had anything written down for this character. This whole thing was a waste of time, and I guess we'll see if she changes into Emma or after or before. If she doesn't, we'll see what really happens, and this is going to be talked about another day. After Raw, I just want to talk about it real briefly. The Rock came out to do a scene, I'm pretty sure, for the new movie about Paige, which is interesting. I mean, WWE doing a movie about Paige, the person that I thought they were going to cut not too long ago or get breach of contract or something, because, she's been in the news lately for the wrong reasons. She's been on the WWE's bad side. Not that she's been in the news for the wrong reasons. She hasn't done nothing wrong besides fail a drug test, which apparently wasn't even her fault, or like it was a doctor's prescription or whatever. Those drug tests are always suspect, but yeah, doing a movie about Paige and her family. And the person playing her, I don't know her name exactly, but it's just funny because, like, you could have these portrayals after the person isn't around, so you don't know what you kind of think less of what they look like, and you kind of forget how they look and whatnot. But no, we just seen Paige less than 6 months ago, and we know how she looks, and it's just funny to see, I don't know, actors playing into the character that's a person that's still alive and even still in his youth stage, you know what I mean? Like, in their youth stage, I should say. Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, I don't know how I feel about it. The Rock's in it. Vince Vaughn is in it. So, it's already the most successful WWE Studios movie just like that. So, that's saying something. What Rock did do, though, he called CM Punk on his phone, and The Rock gets away with whatever he wants, and it's only The Rock that could take these risks. Only the part-timers that could take these risks, and then the other people can't take any risk, and that's the people that Stone Cold complain, gotta take more chances. You can't. You just can't. Only The Rock and only Brock Lesnar and only Goldberg and Undertaker could do these type of spots. I mean, not call CM Punk, but do these riskier spots, and you're not giving that same opportunity to your full-timers. But that's my take on that. Next up, we have Tuesday Night SmackDown Live. I almost said Friday Night SmackDown. That's how stuck in the past I am. Now, just like the whole Stephanie McMahon segment, we had Bryan Daniel. Oh my God, I'm stumbling all over my words today. But I'm gonna keep that one in. I really just think I need a glass of water. But my water bottle is way too far right now, and I don't want to leave you guys hanging. But we had Daniel Bryan come out and call out Naomi, and basically Naomi was forced to give up her belt because she couldn't defend the title in the required 30 days, which I guess is a rule again, which I like the rule, but you can't use it when you want to. But Naomi was forced to give it up, which I don't know if this injury is kayfabe. I think it is, but I don't know how I feel about it if it is, because if that was the case, I would have had Naomi lose the match or something of that sort, and then play off of that knee injury, and basically, maybe win the title back, not win the title back, but win the title for the first time at Mania, and kind of have a little good, happy moment at Mania. What was the moment called when good go happy moment, go happy? Some shit like that. It's happy go felt or happy, I don't know. Do you guys know what I'm talking about, or am I just talking on my ass? Whatever. That's what happens when I don't have, like, a co-host. Like, when I'm stuck on something and I'm trying to figure it out. Like, little things like that I can't Google. It's just like, I'm just asking you guys because I don't have another person near me. But, yeah, Naomi was forced to give up her title. Alexa Bliss comes out to basically gloat in her face and ask for her title back. Not even for a title shot, for a title back. Where Becky comes out, and that leads to a match where Bliss wins by a double chop to the throat while the referee wasn't looking. Is that like a legal move? You can't hit somebody in the throat? Like, is that not a thing anymore? You can choke slam them, but you can't hit them in the throat? I don't know. Like, they played it off like it was a very heel move. I mean, it was I guess, it's unsportsmanlike, but it's not like illegal or anything. So I don't know what's the problem. She's a heel. She done, I guess, a heel gesture. I don't find too much wrong with it. But Bliss is your 2-time SmackDown Women's Championship. Bliss is, I think I do like her better than Becky. And not in the ring, but her character. I don't really like Becky's character. I don't know what it is. It's her whole gimmick, her straight fire, and I hate the whole thing. And I'm not a big fan of her voice either, and I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to, come at that, because that's something she can't control, obviously, but maybe if she was a heel, I'd be more interested in it, because, Neville didn't have the best voice, and now his voice sounds great as a heel, so maybe that's the thing. No, we also had American Alpha defeating Fashion Police. I guess Fashion Police are heels now. I mean, they were on the face tag team, 6 men or 8 men, the other week. I guess they're heels again. And, just another match for the Usos. American Alpha, and another win for American Alpha. At least they're getting wins, and at least they're on TV to remind you they're champions. Usos eventually came out, cut an actual pretty good promo, and I like the Usos. I really like their whole new gimmick. I know people kind of hate on it because they just look so. They remind me of that. Was it Too Cool, or the whole Samoan thing with Umaga and Rosie, Roman Reigns' brother? It kind of reminds me of that, but the way they come out and dress. But besides that, they're good performers in the ring, and I thought the promo was really good. They're no longer the stupid faces that were basically Roman Reigns, Cena. The promo they cut was very impressive. I was just looking at it not too long ago, and to play you a clip, I'm going to show you my favorite part. I don't know if the mic could pick it up as well as I can hear it, but
You're going to jump in your rental car, you're going to buckle your seatbelt, you're going to drive to your hotel room, it's probably a 2-star. You're going to take your protein shake and your protein bar, then he pick chocolate or vanilla, and then you're going to say your prayers, and you're going to lay your head down, and you're going to start tossing and turning, laying there with your eyes wide open, wondering why I can't go to sleep. You know damn well why. It's because you got little hair standing behind your neck.
yeah, just to give you a clip of that, man, very passionate, and I'm digging it. That was the best promo Usos cut probably ever, at least that I seen. I mean, I did get back into wrestling. I remember when I got back into wrestling, Usos were having their feud with the Wyatts. So if that gives you a little pinpoint, I don't remember when exactly, but that was what was going on with them. And this is the best promo I heard of them since ever, basically, and very impressive. And I used to love Usos back then as well. They're literally one of my favorite things. I thought all their matches were great. And sure, the characters could get a little stale, but I love them as performers in the ring. And I think they're probably, when they're actually competing, they're probably one of the best tag teams. I probably put them above, I guess they rank right where they are, right under the Sheamus and Cesaro, the Club, New Day. I have them above Enzo Amore and Cass because skill-wise, they're not even comparable. And I think they would fall right under American Alpha, to be honest, so that I'll rank them fifth out of the tag team division. And if they keep their character like this, I could see them even going higher, because good heels are rare to be found, and when people do have their heel turn after being a face for so long, it becomes more effective, which I'm waiting for Ziggler, which he's in the Battle Royal, so we could talk about that for a little bit later. Next, we had the Nikki versus Natalya match. Falls count anywhere. Pretty good match. Another good match. I don't think it was better than the one they had at Elimination Chamber. Or it might have been just because of the finish, but even this finish was a little sloppy. So we'll get into that. So one of the spots we had, or one of the final spots we had, was Natalya throwing Nikki into Maurice, who I don't know why Maurice just keeps walking around everywhere. Why isn't she just in her fitting room, her dressing room, or the locker room and doing her own thing? I don't know why she's walking everywhere, but she just so happened to be in Nikki's way again and fell into Nikki. Nikki took her down by accident, of course. Eventually, Nikki threw Natalya into glass, shattered it with her face. Pretty cool spot. I like that one. I almost thought Natalya was going to be pinned after that, but she wasn't. Ended up leading back to the ramp where Nikki had Natalya in the Fearless Lock, which I don't think I mentioned that Elimination Chamber. Fearless Lock looks pretty damn deadly. It looks way more deadlier than the STFU, whatever you want to call it. It looks way more deadlier than John Cena's move. So I like the Fearless Lock a lot. Fearless Lock a lot. I meant to say Fearless Lock a lot. While she was in the Fearless Lock, Maurice came out, hit her with a steel pipe, lead pipe, one of those things. And it really does look like it's going to be a Miz, Maurice, Cena, and Bella match. Nikki Bella. I don't know how I feel about it. Still, I'm glad Cena's kind of shied away from the main event scene. But I would have rather... So if you guys haven't heard my WrestleMania Dream Card, here's what I'll tease. I have Cena fighting Samoa Joe. You want to hear how? Listen to that podcast. That's what I would do. Yeah, so that was that match. Pretty good, though. You know what? They had to end this feud somehow, and I think this is the end. And maybe there'd be one more hint to it. Maybe in the future, if they do have like a fatal five-way, fatal six-way match, fatal four-way match at Mania, and Nikki gets a win over Natalya. Oh, actually, she'll be busy with Maurice, so that can't happen. That's another thing I proposed that my WrestleMania Dream Card. Nikki wins the belt at Mania, retires then, and she pins Natalya in a fatal four-way. So if you guys want to hear that, once again, check out that, because I worked very hard on it, and I would love to hear what you guys think about it. Next up for our main event, we got the Battle Royal, and this is this is why my SmackDown review is so much shorter, because that 1 hour helps a lot. The 1 hour differentiate of just SmackDown being shorter helps a lot, and it also provides just storylines to keep what's the word I'm looking for? Progress. I hate when I can't think of simple ass words. I'm a college student. I'm a grown ass man. But anyways, it gives the ability for these storylines to progress without much filler, and basically even if a segment is bad but it progressed the storyline, it's better than a filler match such as Rusev and Jinder Mahal versus Enzo and Cass, such as New Day versus Rusev and Bo Dallas, or New Day versus Bo Dallas, or New Day versus Titus O'Neil, or some stupid shit like that. But we did have the Battle Royal to determine who's going to be inserted in the Randy Orton spot for the main event of WrestleMania against Bray Wyatt for the championship. Now, I'm just going to name who got eliminated and by who, and maybe a few spots as well. So we had Corbin eliminating Mojo Rawley first. Then we had Ziggler eliminating Kalisto. Cruz eliminating Ziggler. Ziggler grabs the chair in frustration as Kalisto is still laying outside to just, demolish Kalisto like he's always doing with the damn chair. Cruz distracted, eliminated by Corbin. Eventually, Cruz tries to grab the chair from Ziggler. Well, he does grab the chair from Ziggler. He tries to hit Ziggler with the chair. My man has the worst aim ever. At one point, it slipped out his hands. I don't know if it slipped or he threw it. It definitely looked like it slipped, which could have been dangerous. It was next to the crowd, too. But Cruz and Ziggler, doesn't look like that feud is ending anytime soon. Where am I at? Yeah. I put Cruz has terrible aim. After Miz looks impressive, just like he did at Elimination Chamber, he gets eliminated by Cena, just like Elimination Chamber. So, once again, planting seeds of this Maurice, Miz, and Cena and Nikki Bella match. And then Ambrose eliminates Corbin to, guess what? More Elimination Chamber, a build on that would happen there, which was just what I was talking about, storyline progressing. This is great. I love matches like the Elimination Chamber. I talked about how I liked there was different storylines in the match, different storylines in the Royal Rumble. That's why I like the Royal Rumble so much in this year. And again, a Battle Royal which was a very dictated storyline match. So good on this one too. Corbin takes Ambrose out the ring, slides him out through the bottom rope, gives him an end of days, basically feeds him into the week again, like he did on Elimination Chamber. But the last three will be Ambrose, Harper, and Styles. And, I'm sorry. Before that, you're thinking, where's John Cena? He gets eliminated by Miz, just like the 2010 or 2011 Royal Rumble. You remember when it was supposed to be Alex Riley, I'm pretty sure, but Alex Riley botched his finish. Then The Miz ended up eliminating John Cena. It was same thing like that. Miz was already eliminated from the match, eliminate Cena, so definitely seeds planted for sure. John Cena will be on Miz TV next week, so stay tuned to next week on SmackDown Live. Now, our last three are Ambrose, Styles, and Harper, and they all are on the ringside at this point. And Harper delivers I think it was supposed to be a super kick to Ambrose's face as he had Styles on his shoulder. But it didn't work out, hit him in the gut. Ambrose got eliminated, fell over. And Harper and Styles are the two left in the ring. And I like the Harper move. It was like AJ was on top of the turnbuckle while Harper was on ringside. And he kind of did it was like suplex position, DDT position. And he kind of fell down with him. Almost like, like the Chris Benoit eliminating Big Show victory. And it was almost like that, but a different angle. And they both fell at the same time, and you could clearly see Styles be the first one to hit his feet. They don't show replays, though. Like, even on WWE's YouTube channel, they showed, a slow-motion footage, but not the correct camera angle. But referees discuss who won, who they think fell first. Daniel Bryan comes out and claims that, you know what, you can't decide a winner. This match will be a draw, and the person who's going to face Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania will be determined next week. So, again, SmackDown doing a great job of building up next week. The only complaint I have in this match is the actual finish itself, where they did botch the ending, and Styles did fall first, but it's okay. Let's pretend like it didn't happen. Let's pretend replays aren't a possibility, and referees can't just be like, hold on. Let's look at the big screen and see in 20 different angles like it's NBA and see who fell first and where it was at. Nevertheless, let me not be complaining. I guess is that something I'm nitpicking about, or is it just, how do you guys feel about that, to be honest? I truthfully don't know. I love how they're promoting the next week. So we got the Miz segment with John Cena, and we got our main event already with Harper vs. Styles, which, man, I can't wait for that one. Probably going to be another phenomenal, no pun intended, Harper match, and another phenomenal, no pun intended, Styles match. So, very excited to see that. That's going to wrap up my review for SmackDown Live and Raw. You guys let me know what you thought of the shows. SmackDown Live overall was another solid show, another great show that builds up more storyline, and I can't really complain. Raw, maybe it's only because I saw 2 hours of it, but I felt it was pretty solid. I really, to be honest, there's very few segments I actually pay attention to, and the rest my body learned to just filler it out and filter it. So that's how I kind of view Raw now, and it is what it is. What could improve this, really, is if they made some damn trades. And now this is what I'm going to talk about. It's NBA season right now. And now that football's over, baseball's not around, it's out of season. I think hockey's going around, but I don't watch hockey, so I don't know what's happening there. But you see NBA, and I'm a big NBA fan. You guys can check out my NBA podcast called The Triangle Podcast with me and my man Jesse and Jesus. That's another great podcast I love to do. But right now, it's a big thing going on, and it's the trade deadline coming up. What I would love in WWE is if they have maybe a month or some time of the year where you could do trades, or there's a trade deadline. And I don't know if they're going to do this whole brand split again, like the whole roster drafting and things like that. I know back then, basically their ways of trading people was having the draft, and it was like a random assortment of people getting picked onto each brand. It would just so happen to be that John Cena gets traded to Raw, and he goes from SmackDown to Raw. But it was miscellaneous, and it wasn't like the GMs picked them or anything. It had nothing to do with that. It was just by chance. But what I would do is just actually have it more sports-oriented and have these GMs basically bid for some of these players. Hey, imagine if Rusev got traded to SmackDown, because I think that's what SmackDown could use. I think Rusev on SmackDown sounds better to me, and it would work better. What would you do if Rusev got traded to SmackDown? Or who else doesn't belong on? I would like Ascension better on Raw, to be honest. Maybe after they flourish a little bit, because I do think they can flourish. Maybe I'm the only one. Or Breezango go to Raw. Maybe that's bad examples because of what their character are in now. Or if, for example, they drafted Braun Strowman. Raw drafted Braun Strowman. And, Wyatt is champion right now. And he told Daniel Bryan that he wants to be as strong as possible and he wants to get Braun Strowman back and bid for Braun Strowman. So, they played up a whole angle of, all right, Raw, what would you take for Braun Strowman? We'll give you, let's say, a tag team and this or something like that. I don't know. I think it'll be dope. And in my mind, I just want to suggest people that should be over into different brands. Like, I think Sami Zayn should be on SmackDown. I think Rusev should be on SmackDown. Who can I see from SmackDown on Raw? Randy Orton, I can see on Raw, but I like his place on SmackDown as of now. Ziggler, I wouldn't mind to see on Raw. Who else? Like, imagine, like, they sign a big part-timer, like Undertaker. He said he was a SmackDown guy. Imagine Raw was like, no, we want him. We'll trade you. And they give up, like, a whole bunch of young stars for Undertaker. Like, it really could be something intriguing, and I would love it. I can't really think of people that SmackDown should get rid of because they kind of need everybody they have. Maybe Baron Corbin. But I love what they're doing. Everything going on SmackDown is so right now, but they could use a few more pieces. And I think by having a trade, like a little, I don't know. I mean, they hinted at it so far with Sami Zayn getting traded for Eva Marie, and they do it on Twitter. Daniel Bryan would tell him Cesaro to come over and. Your contract's about to be up. Instead of playing that whole contract is up, because we know their contract is not up, have people get traded. And I would just love to see that. And I think it could really do something. I mean, the tag team division for Raw is really weak right now. And not saying that SmackDown is better, but they have more depth to it. So maybe if you bring over characters from SmackDown to Raw, they could be better on that specific brand. And like AJ Styles, for example. Or the club. When you have pieces missing in the puzzle, maybe you want to get the pieces back together. Now, my last thing I'm going to talk about, speaking of the club, Finn Balor is cleared to return, and I know he is slated for some house shows in March. Now, the question is, should he come back and fight at Mania? Now, the only way I would have him fight at Mania is if he's having a big, high-key match. And also, he's going to want his championship back because he didn't lose it. So how are you going to play that off? Like, it's not like he could just, if he forgets about his championship, he looks kind of stupid. But he also can't, if Goldberg has the belt, he can't be like, yeah, I want to challenge you. Because that's not going to work out for you. Or Lesnar in that case. Or, Owens, the storylines are already being built without him. So what I would say is what I did on my WrestleMania Dream Card, which I'm going to leave you off with so you guys can be motivated to look at that, and please check that out because I really threw my passion into that. AJ Styles versus Finn Balor. Hear how I would book it. Oh my freaking God, I can't wait to drink this water. My throat is dry. You could hear how I would book it on my WrestleMania Dream Card, not predictions, but like how I would book WrestleMania. In other words, right under this video, on SoundCloud, on iTunes, on YouTube, under the name All of the Above, ENT. Let me know what you guys think. Check it out. I hope you guys have a good weekend. I hope you guys have a good wrestling week in general. I think I do have some news. Do I have some? I feel like I had some news of the week. Oh, one sets of news, and it is Kurt Angle. The plan is for Kurt Angle to have some wrestling matches coming back. So let's end this podcast in an upside and hope Kurt Angle can get cleared. Please, whatever neck injuries you had in the past, please, I want them over with. I want to see a few more matches with him. I know it is saying that he is only going to be in a few, if any. Any matches with Kurt Angle is matches in general, and Kurt Angle is one of my favorites of all time, and I would love to see him back. So what do you guys think? Should he come back? Should Finn come back? Did you guys like SmackDown? Did you not like SmackDown? How did you guys feel about Raw? What do you think of this whole Emma situation? And maybe give me your best memories of the people who unfortunately passed this week. Chavo Guerrero Sr., George Steele, Ivan Koloff, Nicole Bass. Since I'm a younger generation guy and I'm really just, out of tune with that era of wrestling, and honestly, the 80s is kind of hard to watch for me. I rather not. I could only do Attitude Era and above, truthfully. But you guys let me know some of their greatest moments and what connected with you guys down below. Please, please, please share. Please subscribe. Please like. With all that being said, guys, thank you so much for everything so far. But I am out.